Did you go live yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you've been laughing in live?
No.
You just did it.
Yeah, I just did it. Welcome to the O's talk, and maybe more, because this one's getting kind of a little interesting to me. This is almost the last week of the season for the Grapefruit League now. This is getting down to the final nitty gritty now. This is getting down to the real stuff, you know. I'm not saying it isn't, but it is. It's getting down to the real down. Getting down to the last couple days before opening day is. I'm kind of wondering how these rosters going to be for the rest of the open the season out. Open on on March 28th, I should say. So I should say, let's go over some of the scoring for this game today, which what people didn't realize. It was like just like something you just didn't think this was ever going to last this time of the year. When you think that this club's not going to do something, they will do something. I heard this game this afternoon. It was really interesting. But to me, this was, when I heard the description of this, what do you think it would really be to you, whatever one of the Orioles this baseball team? Let me just ask this. What would you think about a game was so close and you thought it would come back in the ninth inning? What would you do? Would you just say like it was so close or so good? I think it would be close. This was so close today, you wouldn't even believe it. I thought this was going to be a little bit more clear to me than what I just heard. I just heard this game this afternoon. It was tremendously good. I still think it was better. But this game was so close today that it was sort of like it was so close. I mean, it was so good to just hear a game again instead of having it all silenced up with a computer. And this was kind of on the line where I thought this was kind of close to where this was close to playing games, where this was so close. And you could understand better as you heard it. You could hear better. You can hear it a lot clearer. I heard the radio broadcast today. I almost had a problem with it. When the Orioles scored there for 2 runs in the first, I knew they were going to do something there. And it was less of the 4 innings here. Didn't worry me too much there. It was 2-1. It was after 4. It's after 2.5. This came up 4-2 now. And this was worrying me because I thought the Orioles wouldn't come back. But they did score 3 and made it 4-3 in the 5th. The 6th, they didn't score anything. And the 7th, they didn't score. And the 8th, they didn't score. In the 9th inning, they scored 2 more. And it made it 5-4, which was a little closer to what it usually is. The Orioles just won this one by a score of 5-4, with 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. It was 5-10-2 for the Orioles. And when you actually see Brandon Hyde come out to that dugout, he knows what he's going to talk about, don't you? Go to the press. And I mean, this is one of the biggest news stories as you can get. I mean, this is big news, you know. This is not no serious part of it, but this is really serious things. And the title matches today, it was like Well, just like everybody thought that this wasn't going to be a win for, but it did come out like that. Came out with a solid win for the O's today. And it's almost down to the last week before the season opens for real. And I'm really sure that this team's going to do well this season, this coming year, this coming. This is the last week of the Grapefruit League right now. It's getting down to the end now. I just think that this was kind of like it was so close. It was so close before you ever said anything. But this one was. This one's very close to win this game today. If the pitching would have been, it was excellent today. It was really excellent. When I heard about this, after you hear it, you just couldn't understand. I can understand where they were saying that the pitching was getting better. Actually, it is. And I think this was incredibly better than anything I ever heard of. And this was kind of like, was so interesting to me that the pitching stayed really well. Well, it was pretty good this afternoon. I thought this was playing pretty well. If they just stayed in where this whole thing was so interesting today, that it was so amazing. As you heard this game on BAL radio, what would you think about having a very special World Series? What would you think? Would you think this team could make it into the World Series? And if anybody had a guess on this, if anybody can tell me they couldn't do it, they can. I think this is the time for baseball. It's going to be time for anything to open the season with. I think this roster is almost set, but I don't know yet. I don't have any information yet, but I'll let you know later this week. So I don't know if this was like a series where it was going into the year, they'd be okay. But if they end up like they are now, they're so hot. They're really in a winning streak now. This is a quite different team. This is quite different to what I've seen so far. Last year it was kind of heartbreaking for them. Kind of heartbreaking. When you actually see a game like that, you think it was kind of hard not to win a series like this. But this was, I think this whole thing was really incredible. It really was incredible. If anybody had a question for this, what would you think about having an Orioles biggest thing that you ever thought? Did you ever think we're having a big rally for them? This would be the best thing that anybody ever did for them. Anybody would ever said anything. But this game today, this was like a very fun ball game to listen to today. And this wasn't so bad, but it's something like O's are really starting to come, really start to start over the year right. I think this year is going to be a very good year for the O's. I'm really thinking it's going to be a great season for them. I think this season is really going to be amazing, where these teams are really going to be quite different from last season to this year. I think it's a lot different, a lot better. They look good. They sound better. The hitting's getting better. They come back so fast that you think it was going to be a very interesting season going into the next game. But this one was, Boston was kind of on their one end. I didn't really think that this team was going to come back like this. But then they did, and they won 5-4 in the ninth inning. But it sounds to me Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great year for the O's. Great season. It's going to be a great year, a great, exciting year. I think this is going to be one of the season's best time of the year. I think a lot of fans are going to be happy with this team. I think this team's really going to bring back a season where I think this was like Slander for one and Hardcastle. And if you didn't see them guys ever play baseball before, they can. They can play good ball. And this one's kind of it's going to be a little bit easier this year. But they're going to open against a very good ball club this season. And this ball club is going to be the Los Angeles Angels. I'm just kind of hoping this year is going to be coming out well. If this season doesn't, it's going to be a terrible year for them. And they're having a great year for what the Orioles are doing this year. I'm thinking this year, it's really coming back for many people who ever said that during the season last year. And so many fans who loved this season, who liked the Orioles just trying to come back this year. And I'm really hoping they can come back this season to win the whole thing. So stay tuned for any more Orioles news. We'll have more Orioles news as I get it this week. So I'll have more O's news later. I'll see you on Monday when we have our next show. And I'll have a little bit more on the O's as I get more information. As much as the roster will be decided by that time, I should be able to have every detail as you can mainly know. I'll announce the names on the air as I get everything with the pitching. The pitching is important this year. I think there are going to be some amazing pitching this season. It sounds like it's going to be an exciting year for the O's. I think these changes that they made, I think they did really well this year. But I just hope this season comes out well for them. I hope they come out as well. I don't think they're going to have a bad year. And this year was so tremendous. And I mean terrific. I'm not saying bad games, but this could be one of the best seasons they have had in 20 years. And I mean, this year is so fantastic from this past season, so quiet. And I mean, they're hitting more. They're coming out scoring runs. They're scoring a lot more runs, more. As you just hear it on the radio, you could really see BAL starting up a television program. I really think this documentary was pretty good for what the Orioles did last season. They had a good year. I think they really had to, because I might do some interviews this year with some of the fans out there that really are Orioles fans. Because Orioles fans are really good just to hear when the Orioles fans come out to the ballpark and really have a good year. If you want Orioles tickets for opening day, please get them today. If you don't have them, get them, because you're going to see a exciting season for the Orioles as soon as they announce the lineups for this year. Because I'll have updates as I get everything in. I'll update everything as I have it, as I get all the correct lineup for this year, for this year's game. So we'll stay tuned for that story, and we'll keep you updated as I can get everything together. I'll get the roster back in order. So stay tuned for anything we have on the Orioles, and I'll keep you updated as I go. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you later in the week. And I'll see you on Monday. See you later for the O's. Go lose this year and have a perfect year. I'm off. I'm off the air. I'm off.